This course will explain what is a McKenzie friend. It is one of those questions that I am asked hundreds of times. What is a McKenzie friend? What can a McKenzie friend do? So this video, which is a free guide, is going to explain the essential points of what a McKenzie friend is and what a McKenzie friend can do. I'm going to cover where they originated, how they work in practice, how much use can they be, what can they do, and are there any regulations that govern what they can do? And then I'm going to finish with how do you actually become a McKenzie friend? So in the first of those, in 1970, a Mr. McKenzie was going to court and he couldn't afford his solicitor, or his solicitor was unavailable, one or the other. And his solicitor suggested that a friend of his, who was a solicitor in Australia, was over here on holiday, and that maybe you could take him and he can make notes for you. So Mr. McKenzie turned up in court with this Australian solicitor, and the judge said, no, I'm not having him in my courtroom. So that case was appealed to the Court of Appeal, and the Court of Appeal decided, and they made a ruling, that anybody who is going to court is entitled to have somebody with them who can give them support and assist them through that hearing. Now, that person is known as a McKenzie friend, and the law is there to say that you are able to have a McKenzie friend. There may be issues about whether your McKenzie friend is suitable, but I'll come on to that. Now, in practice, a McKenzie friend can come into your hearing with you, whether that is a children hearing or a financial hearing, or if you're looking for an injunction, any family law hearing, and I believe they are also available in other kinds of hearings, but I'm dealing with family law. And anybody can come in with you and they can assist you as your McKenzie friend. Now, how much use can they be? When I say that anybody can go into the hearing with you, it is literally anybody. You could take your next door neighbour. Now, your next door neighbour can come into your hearing, they can sit with you, they can support you, they can make notes, but how much use are they actually going to be? Unless they have experience and knowledge in family law, they aren't going to know what the judge wants you to do. They aren't going to understand the process or to know what's going to happen next and why what happens next is going to be there. And the reality then is that if you are going to go with a McKenzie friend and you don't know what the procedure is, you ideally want somebody who does. And there are lots of McKenzie friends who have knowledge of family law and are able to go into the hearing with you, and they will charge you money for that. Now, the money generally should be far, far less than a solicitor will charge you. Solicitors often charging £200 plus per hour. So they will be a lot less than that. And it is an arrangement that you will have with your client as to how much you're going to charge. You don't have to charge anything at all. It's entirely a matter for your conscience and how you are working as a McKenzie friend. Now, when you look at what they can do, it is much easier to try and explain what they can't do. There is a document called the President's Guidance on McKenzie Friends, which sets out about 25 or 28 paragraphs of things that you can and can't do. Most of them are not particularly relevant to a normal McKenzie friend going into court. But there are two big points which are governed in that guidance. Two big points that you cannot do. You cannot speak to the judge as a representative for your client. That is the role of a solicitor or a barrister, and occasionally the court may allow your McKenzie friend to do it. But as a rule, no, it's not going to happen. You are there to if you're the McKenzie friend, you are there to support and advise. If you are the person in court taking a McKenzie friend with you, they are there to help and support you. They are not there to represent you. If you want representation, you need a solicitor or a barrister, and that does come with a price. The other thing that the McKenzie friend is unable to do for you is to represent you outside the court. So they cannot sign your application form. You would possibly notice that solicitors are able to sign forms and sign your letters. A McKenzie friend cannot do that. You are not qualified, or they are not qualified, and they are unable to do that. There has to be a distinction between a solicitor and a McKenzie friend, because not everybody is going to become a solicitor. There's a lot of training involved, a lot of money involved in becoming qualified. A McKenzie friend can be anybody with no training, nothing. So there is a big difference between the two. The regulations, as I say, are in the President's Guidance. There is another video accompanying this one. This is a free video. The other one, there is a small charge for, which will explain the details of the President's Guidance. But you can download it from the internet and you can read it yourself. Now, how do you become a McKenzie friend? Simply, you can just go to court with somebody tomorrow. That is a McKenzie friend. That's what they do. However, if you want to provide your client with a service that is worth providing them with, or if you are looking for McKenzie friend to come with you, you do need somebody who knows the process, understands what's involved, and has knowledge of family law. Otherwise, you may as well go with your next door neighbour. Now, if you want to obtain a knowledge of family law, I run courses which are in London and in Manchester, and I run them in the spring over 3 weekends, and I run them in the autumn over 3 weekends in each location. The first Saturday, because they're always held on a Saturday, the first Saturday is children cases, and I cover everything about children cases. I talk about the process, preparation for the hearing, what's going to happen in that hearing, and what the court are looking for. I do the same on finances. And then the third day is about final hearings, because a lot, not all, but a lot of children cases and a lot of financial cases will end up in a final hearing. So the information on that third day is similar to both, but is a lot more advanced. I'm also in the process of creating video online courses, which will eventually cover everything that I do on those training days. However, each of those days is 7 hours long, and I cover a wealth of information. And you can ask questions, and I give all sorts of examples of things that I've done that worked, things I've done that didn't work, things I know that other people have done that worked and didn't work. So there's a lot of experience there. I have been a McKenzie friend for nearly 20 years. So I have a lot of experience. I've been at the Court of Appeal, I've been in the High Court, I've been in the normal family courts, which is where you are likely to be going. I've dealt with children cases, finances, and injunctions. So I have a wealth of knowledge which I pass on in that training. If you do the training, I will also support you afterwards. So you can learn at either the online course or the face-to-face course in London and Manchester about being a knowledgeable McKenzie friend, and how much to charge, how to find work, all of the things that you would need to do to set yourself up in business as a McKenzie friend. And that's all included on the second video.